You know that version of you that exists only in your head? The one who finishes work on time, doesn't panic before college finals, actually moves the needle on a side hustle. But somehow, real life is just you, tired on the couch, scrolling TikTok with a cold cup of coffee next to you. You sit down to work, and your brain feels like 15 tabs open at once. You read the same sentence 3 times, and none of it sticks. You bounce from email to Slack to Instagram to a random YouTube short about a dog skateboarding, and then wonder where the last 40 minutes went. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll be focused. Next week, I'll get my life together. But then the alarm goes off, you grab your phone, and the cycle repeats. If any of that feels uncomfortably familiar, this is for you. Because your problem is not that you're lazy. Your problem is that your brain is drowning in noise, and your systems aren't helping you. Here's the big truth. Your focus is not a personality trait. It's a byproduct of your environment, your habits, and how much friction there is between you and your distractions. When focus feels impossible, most people go straight to shame. I'm just not disciplined. I don't have that grind mindset. I guess I'm not a productive person. But you are not broken. You are just running on default settings that were never designed to protect your attention. Your phone, your laptop, your apartment, your browser, everything around you is quietly pushing you toward the path of least resistance. And right now, the path of least resistance is usually scroll, snack, repeat. So, instead of trying to become a completely different person overnight, I want you to start thinking in micro habits. Micro habits are tiny actions that take under 5 minutes a day. They're friction-based habits. You either make focus easier or distractions slightly harder. They're small enough that even on your worst days, when you're exhausted after your 9 to 5 or fried from a long day of classes, you can still do them. And that's the point. The days when you don't feel like it are exactly the days micro habits keep your life from drifting off course. So, let's reframe how you see yourself. You are not someone who can't focus. You are someone who has never been taught how to design your environment and your habits, so focus is the default, not the exception. Once we fix that, your brain will finally have a chance to do what it's capable of. Let's talk about some micro habits that can fix your focus in under 5 minutes a day. Not in theory, in real, messy, modern US life, with rent, student loans, a job, maybe a side hustle, and a brain that's always half online. First micro habit, the 3-item focus card. Most people start their day inside their phone. Email, group chats, news notifications, a random meme your friend sent at 2 a.m. By the time you're done just checking things, your brain is already scattered, and you haven't decided what actually matters today. The 3-item focus card flips that. Here's how it works. Before you dive into your phone or laptop, you take 2 minutes to write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Not 20, not fix my whole life. Just 3 things that, if completed, would make today feel like a win. If you're in college, that might be finish history reading, review flashcards for 15 minutes, submit that one assignment. If you're working a 9 to 5, it might be finish slide deck, reply to client X, 30 minutes on my portfolio or side hustle. You can write it on a sticky note, an index card, or in your notes app. The tool doesn't matter. What matters is that your brain sees in writing what done looks like today. Why does this help your focus? Because every time you get distracted, you now have a simple question to come back to. Which of my 3 things am I doing right now? Tiny action step. Tomorrow morning, before you open social media or email, spend 2 minutes writing your 3-item focus card. That's it. You've just given your brain a map instead of letting the internet decide your day. Second micro habit, the 5-minute start. There's a reason you can scroll for an hour but can't start a 20-minute task. Your brain hates big, vague, heavy things. Study biology, work on my side hustle, clean the apartment. Those feel endless. So your brain chooses the easy dopamine instead. The 5-minute start shrinks the wall you have to climb. The rule is simple. When you sit down to do an important task that matters, you commit to just 5 minutes. Not 50, not until it's done. Just 5 minutes of movement in the right direction. If you're studying, that might be 5 minutes of summarizing one page of notes. If you're working on a side hustle, it might be 5 minutes of writing one paragraph or sketching one idea. If you're at your 9 to 5, it might be 5 minutes of outlining that email you've been avoiding. Most of the time, once you get past those first 5 minutes, your brain realizes, oh, this isn't that bad, and you keep going. But even on the days you don't, you still showed up. You still chipped away, and that's what builds identity. I'm the kind of person who starts. Tiny action step. Pick one important task on your 3-item card. Set a 5-minute timer and tell yourself, I only owe this 5 minutes. When the timer ends, you can stop guilt-free or keep going if you feel like it. Third microhabit, the 3-layer finger switch. If you've ever realized you accidentally opened Instagram or found yourself on YouTube without meaning to, that's not an accident. That's low friction. Your distractions are one tap away. Your deep work probably lives in 6 different tabs, a buried folder, or a notebook you have to dig out of your backpack. The friction switch is about making distractions slightly harder and focus slightly easier. Here's a simple example. If you always open social media on your phone during work, move those apps off your home screen and into a folder on the last page. Or log out of the desktop site so you have to type your password each time. It's not a huge barrier, but it adds just enough friction that your autopilot doesn't drag you into a scroll hole as often. At the same time, you reduce friction for focus. Keep your main work document pinned. Keep your textbook and notebook open on your desk instead of inside your bag. Keep your side hustle file or design doc on your desktop instead of buried inside 10 folders. You're telling your brain, this is the easy path now. That other thing is slightly harder. Tiny action step. Tonight, identify just one distraction you want to make 10% harder. Move an app. Log out. Turn off an autoplay setting. Then, identify one focus activity you want to make easier and set it up so you can start in under 15 seconds. Fourth microhabit is the 3-breath reset. Your focus doesn't just die because of your phone. It dies because you're stressed, tired, and your nervous system is in constant fight or flight. You check your bank account. You get a Slack message from your boss. You see 3 unread emails from your professor. Your body goes into subtle panic mode, and your brain says, please, can we have some easy dopamine instead? Before you know it, you're scrolling to numb out. The 3-breath reset is a tiny pattern interrupt you can use anytime your brain feels noisy. Here's how it works. Whenever you catch yourself bouncing between tasks or reaching for your phone out of habit, pause and take 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 2. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. 3 breaths. That's it. It takes maybe 30 seconds, but it signals to your nervous system, we're safe, we're okay. We don't need to panic scroll. After those 3 breaths, you gently ask, what was I supposed to be doing again? Then you return to your 3-item focus card. Tiny action step. Tomorrow, pick one trigger, like opening a new tab, picking up your phone, or switching apps. Every time that trigger happens, practice a 3-breath reset before you do anything else. Fifth microhabit. The 1 screen at a time rule. Picture this. You're watching Netflix with your laptop open while scrolling your phone. Or you're in a Zoom meeting, half listening, half answering email, half on Slack. That's 3 halves. No wonder you feel fried. Our brains are not built for constant context switching. Every time you jump between tasks, you pay a mental switching cost. That cost shows up as fatigue, anxiety, and the feeling that you did so much but finished nothing. The 1 screen at a time rule is simple. If you're on your laptop for focused work, your phone is face down and out of reach. If you're studying with your tablet, your laptop is closed. If you're watching a show to relax, your phone is across the room, not in your hand. You train your brain that whatever is in front of you is enough. No, you won't be perfect at it. You'll still reach for your phone sometimes without thinking. But over time, this rule lowers your mental noise and makes deep focus feel less like swimming upstream. Tiny action step. Choose one activity where you'll practice one screen at a time today. Maybe it's your next 25-minute work block. Maybe it's your next lecture. Maybe it's tonight's show. For that one block, commit. One screen only. Now I want to show you how this looks in real life. Meet Jordan. Jordan is 26, works a regular 9-to-5 in marketing, and is trying to study for a certification exam at night to get a better job and a better paycheck. Rent is high, the commute is long, and by the time they get home, their brain feels like mashed potatoes. Every evening, Jordan would say, "Tonight, I'm going to study for at least an hour." They'd grab dinner, sit on the couch with the textbook, and then think, "Let me just check my phone real quick." One TikTok, then one more, then a reel, then a random YouTube short about productivity, ironically. Before they knew it, it was 11:15 p.m. They were tired, guilty, and the textbook hadn't moved. Jordan concluded, "I just don't have the discipline for this." But instead of giving up, they decided to try something different. No more giant promises, no more new me for Monday, just micro habits. They started with the 3-item focus card. Every morning, before they opened social media, Jordan wrote down 1. Finish report section, 2. Reply to client emails, 3. Certification 5 minutes of review. Instead of study for an hour, they wrote 5 minutes. That alone made their brains sigh in relief. Then they used the 5-minute start. After dinner, they didn't say, "I have to study for an hour." They said, "I owe myself 5 minutes." That's all. They opened their notes, set a timer, and did one quick review of key concepts. Some nights, 5 minutes was all they had. Other nights, they looked up when the timer ended and realized they'd been going for 20. Next, they did the friction flip. They moved TikTok and Instagram off their home screen into a folder called Later. They pinned their certification notes in their study app and left the textbook open on the desk instead of in their bag. They made distraction 10% harder. They made focus 10% easier. They added the 3-breath reset. Every time they reached for their phone while studying, they stopped, took 3 deep breaths, and asked, "Do I really want to interrupt this 5-minute streak?" And finally, they applied the 1 screen at a time rule. During their 5-minute study blocks, their phone lived on the other side of the room, not in their lap, not next to the notebook, across the room. Nothing magical happened on day 1 or day 2, but after a couple of weeks, Jordan noticed something strange. They weren't scared of starting anymore. 5 minutes felt small enough that their tired brain would accept it. The apps weren't calling their name quite as loudly. Their focus felt heavier, more stable. 3 months later, they weren't perfect. They still had tired days, they still procrastinated sometimes, but they had finished the certification content, passed the exam, and actually applied for better jobs. Not because they had a huge willpower breakthrough, but because tiny, under 5-minute micro habits had quietly changed their identity from "I can't focus" to "I show up even for 5 minutes." That's the power of 1% better. So, let's bring this back to you. You don't need to become a different person by Monday. You don't need a 4 a.m. morning routine, 10 apps, and a perfect Notion setup. You need small, boring, repeatable micro habits that your tired, stressed, real-world self can actually do. Let's build a simple, under 5-minute a day focus stack you can start this week. Here's your mini challenge. For the next 7 days, you're going to practice 3 micro habits, not 12, 3. Habit 1, the 3-item focus card. Each morning before you open social media, write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Takes 2 minutes. Habit 2, the 5-minute start. Pick one important task from your card and give it just 5 minutes. Set a timer. When it ends, you can stop or keep going. Habit 3. One friction flip. Choose one distraction to make 10% harder and one focus activity to make 10% easier. Move an app, pin a document, leave your book open, keep your headphones ready. That's it. If you want extra credit later, you can layer in the 3-breath reset and the one screen at a time rule. But for now, keep it tiny. Micro habits that fix your focus are not about perfection. They're about consistency. They're about proving to yourself every single day, I am the kind of person who shows up, even in small ways. Now I want you to lock this in with one sentence. In the comments, write, I'm building my focus 5 minutes at a time. Not, I'll try. Not, I hope. I'm building my focus 5 minutes at a time. Because once you stop waiting for the perfect day and start stacking tiny friction-based habits into your real messy life, your focus stops being a mystery and starts becoming who you are. If this resonated with you, share it with one friend who always says, I just can't focus, but has no idea how small the first step can be. Hit like so more people see this instead of another mindless scroll. And if you want more calm, realistic, 1% better everyday systems to fix your focus without fake hustle culture, subscribe to the 1% Focus and keep building a life where your environment, your tech, and your habits are finally on your side.